Welcome back. My final tipping point tonight. If you need a safe space and an emotional sport pony, you probably shouldn't be a journalist. The left is freaking out about this. This is a tweet from President Trump. The president said, and I quote, "The fake news media, the failing New York Times, NBC News, ABC, CBS, CNN, it's not my enemy. It's the enemy of the American people." Meanwhile, 80 people were killed in a terror attack in Pakistan. 55 people were killed in a terror attack in Baghdad. Go count the news stories. I bet they number 50 to 1. Trump's tweet to news that actually matters. Even Senator McCain, a great man and a living hero, is dead wrong here. Take a listen.
Without it, I'm afraid that we would lose so much of our individual liberties over time. That's how dictators get started.
That's how dictators get started, with tweets like that?
They get started by suppressing a free press.
See, that's the difference. President Trump's not shutting down the press. He's calling them out on their BS. A dictatorship would own all the mainstream media networks and systematically toss journalists in jail for stories the government doesn't like Cuba does. A dictatorship would force subjects to watch state-run programming at a certain time every day, like North Korea does. A dictatorship would attack citizen journalists who try to report the truth, like Iran does. Oh wait, sounds kind of familiar, huh, James O'Keefe? Funny how free speech, even from the President of the United States, who literally has no control of the media, is fascism to liberals, and apparently to some disgruntled rhinos too. But where's all the outcry over actual abuse of government power? Government forcing citizens to buy a product they don't want, or else threatening to force us to pay a penalty they decided to call a tax? That's how dictatorships get started. Shutting down the free speech of conservatives by calling it violent, hateful, bigoted, inciting, and fascist. Pepper spraying students who voted for Donald Trump, burning, breaking, vandalizing, looting, robbing, and setting fires to shut down people whose opinions you don't happen to like, and then not holding the perpetrators to account. That's how dictatorships get started. Attacking police officers, undermining the rule of law in our nation, that's how dictatorships get started. Restricting our right to bear arms, taking away our ability to defend ourselves against the government, that's how dictatorships get started. Hacking into laptops, bugging cell phones, and sending fake cable men to secretly install surveillance on one of the few honest, credible journalists left in our nation, Sharyl Attkisson, because she had the courage to investigate Fast and Furious and Benghazi, that's how dictatorships get started. Deploying the IRS, an agency of the federal government, to target everyday American citizens based on their political beliefs, that's how dictatorships get started. Forcing family-owned bakeries and florists to violate their consciences by participating in a gay wedding, or violate the law by politely declining to participate, that's how dictatorships get started. Maybe if the media didn't feed debate questions to their favorite candidate, maybe if they didn't spread fake news stories about Muslims being attacked after Trump's election, maybe if the media didn't twist and distort and misreport on terror attacks to avoid using the term radical Islamic terrorist, if they weren't such obvious tools for progressive politicos, maybe then the President of the United States wouldn't have to call them out. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us live here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and until then, have a good night.